Thank you very much for joining me. How you been? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Steve Renazizi. I'm the guy. I'm the guy. Fucking lit. I'm the guy. Steve Renazizi. Lit. I'm the guy. I'm the guy. Fucking lit. I'm the guy. Steve Renazizi. What's the odds? 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 What's the odds?
Yes, welcome back to What's the Odds with Brenton Biddlecombe, and joining me as always is Lucas Hurl. We are here. Why is Steve not here? I'll tell you why Steve's not here. Because I was wrong for 8 weeks. I was a man about it. I admit it. But I showed up every week and I took my abuse. This motherfucker gets it wrong 1 week. And where is he? He's off hiding. He doesn't want to hear from us. He doesn't want to talk to us. And here we are. Because he took the Oakland Raiders.
He was so confident. All last week he's saying the Raiders are taking the Bills' wild card spot.
And what happened?
I haven't seen him since.
He didn't cover by 33.5 points, ladies and gentlemen. I've never been that far off. I've been off not 33.5 points. Go back and look at the tapes.
The Jets are back.
The Jets are back.
3 in a row.
I mean, they could take the last wild card spot.
They could.
If they run the table. They have a decent schedule coming up.
Let's pull it up.
They're playing Cincinnati this weekend.
Oh, Steve's on the Facebook chat.
Oh, he's going to troll us that way.
Yeah.
All right.
The only way he knows how.
Should I pull it up so I can see his hatred? I was shocked, though. Who thought the Raiders would lay that much of an egg?
I did.
You did? You saw that coming?
Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Just because they're on Hard Knocks doesn't mean they're a good team. And guess what? They're not a good team.
That's true. That's true. There's certain teams I hate betting on. One of them, the Jets. The other one, the Broncos. Did not see that Bills game turn out the way it did.
Yeah.
Good for Mark Ellis for making that pick last week.
He had the guts.
Yep. It's going to be a great sports weekend, though. We got college football rivalry weekend. Michigan has Ohio State.
Yeah, and you were telling me what's the bet that's going on with that?
We have the Mattress Mac of the Midwest here, where if Ohio State shuts out Michigan on Saturday, Appliance Factory Mattress Kingdom in Columbus, Ohio, at all 5 of their stores will be giving out free qualifying appliances and mattress purchases. Wait, okay. It says made today through Friday are free. So if you buy it today and then if you buy it from Wednesday through Friday and they get shut out on Saturday, you get your money back.
It's not a bad deal.
It's not a bad deal. All right, we got a call. Who is it?
Hello, this is What's the Odds with Brenton Biddlecombe. You are on the air. Caller.
Yeah, I know where I am. Don't worry about who this is and what this isn't, okay?
Caller, what's your name?
This is my podcast, buddy. What's
Caller,
my name?
State your record.
State my record.
State
my
your
record
fantasy
is clean
football
and
record,
clean,
sir.
my man.
Sir?
My fantasy football record, I don't know what it is. It was terrible this week. I lost a lot. I lost every single league.
Do you have
This was a low
a
point.
question for us for gambling? Would you like some expertise from a couple of experts?
No, I don't want expertise from you. I want to share my expertise on my podcast with the fans of mine who are listening right now and loving the fact that I'm now calling in and I don't have to listen to your gibberish
It's
anymore.
kind of odd that you're calling in a podcast to sponsor your own podcast, sir. We do ask that you remain civil while you're on the line. This is a professional show, and we're not going to take your disrespect. This is What's the Odds with Brenton.
Well, I'll say this. I want to thank our friend Mark Ellis for coming on the show last week, adding some class not only to the discussion that we had, but also to our gambling picks. I'm sure you've already talked about it. I kind of trolled you a little bit online about my defeat this week. Yes, I did take a pretty big L this week.
Yes.
I took a big L. I believe that the Oakland Raiders would handily take care of the Jets. All of a sudden, the Jets have figured out how to play, but don't be fooled, Brenton. I hear you saying that they're going to run the table and all this other bullshit.
I'm saying they could. I didn't say they would. I'm saying they could. But do you think? So do you think Cincinnati gets their first win this weekend? They're at home.
No.
It is
No.
because that was going to be my pick. I was going to take the Jets on the road.
2.5 points. Yeah, I would have taken the Jets too. The only thing I saw this week that I didn't like was that Sam Darnold went out and got drunk and then started hooking up with some random chick, which is exactly how you get mononucleosis to begin with.
Yes.
So true. What's up, Steve?
I'm just letting you know.
I still like him against the Bengals. Although the Bengals get Andy Dalton back. And Andy Dalton coming back, that ups the value of Tyler Boyd. That ups the value of Joe Mixon. They're a little bit better of a team.
So, dude.
I think it does.
I don't think he's much better of a quarterback than the guy that they had in there before.
Than Finley. You're talking about Finley.
Yeah,
that guy's bad.
Babe, dude, I don't think it's Babe. Did I just call you Babe? Honey?
You might have.
I'm just saying I don't think it's much of an upgrade. I think you're thinking of Andy Dalton from 5 years ago. Look, he's healthy. That's great, but they're not. Not 3 points. It's 2.5 point spread, right? That's what I thought I saw that.
Yeah.
I think that the Jets cover that. They win by at least 3.
Yeah, I agree.
The
Jets would be my pick unless someone else wants to take them. Then I have another game that I would look at.
I looked at that game, and I was pretty confident about that game, too. That was my backup game. But you know what I said to myself? That's a pussy game. That's not a game for a man.
All right.
A man doesn't take that game and put that game up.
I would love...
A man takes the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers.
I would love, by the way, someone to go back and look at all the times Steve has bet on a game that included either the Jets or the Bengals, and it would probably be at least half of them so far.
Maybe one or two, and one of them I lost. So, anyway. By the way, that's my game of the week. The San Francisco 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens.
It's ballsy.
That's very ballsy, Steve.
It is a ballsy game.
Because honestly, I like San Francisco to cover.
Like I said in my text message, I think that San Francisco 49ers being 10-1 are an underdog. There's an underdog at 10-1 for the first time in 15 years in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason why. Because that Baltimore Ravens team is something else right now. They are the best team in football, and it's not close.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun seeing Bosa against Lamar Jackson.
It's going to be fun to watch Lamar Jackson at home run around that team and make them look not silly. I don't think they're going to blow them out, but I think they win by 10 points.
Well, they need to if you're taking them.
They do. I think that you give Harbaugh a little bit of time to work on a defense for that run, to stop the run. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo played really well, and, he's actually adding to the team now, but I think Lamar Jackson is on a different level than everyone else. He's throwing the ball as well as anyone in the league, and he's quite possibly the best running back in the league as well. So, and that defense is good. That defense is good, really good. So, I'm not saying they're not a great defense in San Francisco. I just think on the road, that's where the difference will be. And I think it's 5.5 points is enough. I think that Baltimore wins by 7, maybe 10.
Well, let me pick your brain because this was a topic of discussion all week in the fantasy football world. Do you think right now Lamar Jackson is a first-round draft pick next year?
I mean, look, I don't know. Based on what he's done this year, yeah, his stats are first-round draft pick-esque. I mean, I would next year, based on what you saw this year, would you take Lamar Jackson or would you take Aaron Rodgers, who's arguably the first quarterback taken every single year, right? So,
well, I mean, Patrick Mahomes was the guy taken this year, and a lot of people took him in the first round based on what he did last year. So would you, if you were, say, a later first-round pick, would you take Lamar Jackson?
I would have to see what running backs are where and what situations, and I mean, I don't know. I think probably, yeah, I might. I've never done a quarterback in the first round, so I've never been that guy. But if I'm talking about, do I think he's a value of first round pick? Yes. Look at him. He's not having number-wise Patrick Mahomes seasons as far as touchdowns, 50 touchdowns, but he's up there and 1,000-yard rushing, well within. He's going to have.
Oh, he'll have that after this week.
He'll have 1,200, 1,300 yards by the end of the year.
Yeah.
So
I worry because he's still young, but I worry about the guy spinning and running out in the open field and then just getting hit blindsided and he's done, and his career's done.
I think you should ask the people that took Patrick Mahomes in the first round this year if they would do it again next year. They probably would say no because he got hurt.
Exactly.
So that's probably your answer. I've never been a quarterback in the first round guy.
No.
I've always looked for another skilled player.
No, because especially you look at Lamar Jackson, he was probably like an 8th or 9th round pick this season.
Then again, I've never won a championship, so what the hell do I care?
That's true. Nor will you this year.
Oh, by the way, Brenton.
Yes.
Also, Brenton, a lot of people in San Jose came up to me, and thank you to those of you from San Jose that came out to the shows at the Improv this past weekend. Ryan O'Neill and I had a great time. Shout out to Original Joe's in San Francisco, one of the best restaurants and best meals I've ever had in my life at midnight on Friday night.
Is that the Italian place?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Pork chops.
Steve Byrne took me there.
At midnight?
Yeah.
Oh,
place
my
is
God.
amazing.
I mean, just ridiculous. Anyway, they were great, but people came up to me saying like they are now playing daily fantasy because of the inspiration you brought to them, Brenton.
Give me your money, everybody.
I'm telling you, I DraftKings, we missed out. They missed out. Oh, they didn't miss out. They got the money. We missed out because people have heard your story, Brenton, and they are now out there on the streets. They want to win that money, and honestly, the way they talk to me, and it's the way that I understand it, it's like if they believe if you could do it, anyone can do it.
I am the Rocky of fantasy football. Thank you.
Yeah, more of like you're the Sanjaya Gupta. Remember Sanjaya from American Idol?
You're really dating yourself, but yes.
Yeah, he went all the way to the finals, but everyone knew he couldn't sing at all, but he was just sort of like a mercy pick. They just kept voting him in.
You keep saying
like
I can't play,
riot.
but here I am week in and week out. I'm coming up on top. I'm making money. I'm, in third place in our league? Where are you, Steve?
Did you do daily?
I did daily,
I think I'm in fifth place.
I did daily. I'm still coming out on top. I'm still making money. I'm not winning $1 million every week, but I mean, no one is.
What's the most money you've won since the million?
500 on a $10 buy-in. I came in the top like 100 and I think I was in 112th place.
I don't know if you got a chance to listen to our podcast last week.
I watched it on the airplane.
We had a caller called in.
I heard. So here's what I did, Steve.
Yeah.
I inspired him to do that. Not to be bested, I decided I would enter in $20 and do the entire slate and try to pick the entire slate. I got 10 of those games right. So I won.
How many games?
How many were there last week? 13, 14?
Probably about, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't win, but I got 10 right. If I had gotten the other 4, I would have made like $45,000. So
man, you got 10 out of 14 games right.
I got 10 out of 14 games right, or whatever it was, 13, 14 games.
And you bet against the spread. You didn't just pick a money line, right?
No, I bet against the spread.
Wow. Did you pick the Jets?
I picked the Jets. I like the Jets. I don't like teams that travel all the way across the country, which is why, I do like San Francisco to cover, but they probably won't because it's hard to make that trip and then play well. So I knew Oakland wasn't going to play well.
Oh, wow. Look who's jumping on trying to fucking glom onto my pick for the week. Don't try to add.
No, I like San Francisco. I'm putting, if I do the parlay, if I do my own, I'm putting money on San Francisco. I like them to cover. I think Baltimore wins, but I think this could be a really close game. But a team like Oakland, I mean, the Jets defense is playing really well. I don't like Oakland.
Game infuriated me. It infuriated me.
Yeah.
I was like, where the fuck? Where is like the grit to go? We're a playoff bound team, and we're getting smoked by a 3-7 football team right now.
They are not a playoff team,
They
Steve.
could win the division still. They could have won the division. They can still win a division.
I mean, they could, but they got to go to Kansas City this week, and Kansas City is completely healthy.
Win. Yeah. I mean, they made it way harder on themselves, but I'm just saying, it's like you have that versus but the Jets defense. And I think I said, I don't think he put it in the video. Shout out to Lucas Hurl. Are you there, Lucas?
I'm there.
I love you, buddy. The video this week was so great.
Thank you, Steve.
I did say, though, I believe, though, if I go back and listen to it, that I was a little nervous that the Jets defense is so good and could show up and shut them out.
Yeah,
I think I did make that.
I took that part out, but you did say it
a little bit. But it didn't matter because I still lost big
33.5 points.
Although I don't think I lost as big as you did when you picked the Saints over the Falcons, and the Falcons blew them out because I think the spread was bigger. So
yeah,
if
maybe
you go back
maybe
and look,
right.
I may not have the biggest L of the year.
But we're not living in the past on this podcast. We're living in the right now, and right now you fucked up, Steve, and Lucas didn't get paid.
Steve, how do you feel about the Bills' playoff chances right now?
Really good.
You do?
Fortunately, really good.
Now, how do you think they do in Dallas?
I mean, it's going to be a fucking joke. You guys you won't win a playoff game.
No. We're one and done.
Right now, regardless of the spread, that you lose the first round of the playoff game, even if you have it at home for some reason, which you won't.
Oh, if they had a home playoff game, I would not bet against them, though.
I was at the last home playoff game.
No, they won't have a home playoff game, but they're going to lose to everyone else in the playoffs in the AFC.
Brenton was at the last home playoff game. What year was that, Brenton, and how old were you?
1996. I was about 9 years old.
And you had beer poured on you?
Yeah. I had beer poured on me. My dad almost got into a fight. It was one of the happiest memories of my childhood. Jim Kelly's last game against the Jaguars.
I was 19 years old, just in my sophomore year of college, chest hair growing out, finding my groove as an actor at SUNY Oneonta, and I remember them. The Bills were great back then. Bruce Smith, Thurman Thomas.
That was the last time the Bills started 8-3, and they're now 8-3. 1996. So we are
terrible.
We are
well,
back.
I think you guys are going to go to the playoffs. I take it back.
Fucked.
I apologize. I know. I got to send my son to those tables. I think I'm going to have to do that. I'm gonna, like Cain and Abel. I'm going to have to choose one of them and then throw one of them out off the roof onto a table.
You don't have to do it off a roof, Steve. You can do it off of a car, a small car closer to the ground. They don't jump off a roof. You're going to murder your son.
Do you guys like my pick this week, or do you not like it?
I don't like it. I honestly think San Francisco could cover. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think Baltimore wins, but I think it's like a field goal game.
I assume the Ravens. The Ravens have one of the best offensive lines in football, right?
They're up there, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that San Fran D line is where they get all their power from. They have like 4 first-round picks on the line.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Ravens can contain them, they'll win.
I think the Ravens win. I don't see San Francisco winning. I'm just saying I think it's a closer game.
It's only 5.5.
I think it's a field goal. I think it's a field goal game.
I
think it's a touchdown and point game. Sneaky at the end. Close game. I'm not saying it's not a close game. I just think like you'll get a situation where the Rams or the Ravens are up by 7, and you're going to have Baltimore. You're going to have San Francisco going for a touchdown rather than going for a field goal. And then not making it or something like that, and then they still cover 7 points.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying,
Steve? I like that pick.
It makes me nervous.
I do.
But yeah, I mean that's the way I feel about the game. I don't know. Did you guys figure out which games you want to do that or no?
Yeah, I mean I'll stay off the Jets Bengals, or maybe since we all agree on that game, maybe we'll just do a 4-game parlay again and include that, and it'll up the money. But
okay,
the game I like then.
I think there was going to be a lot of value in that game.
I'm looking at the Battle of Florida. You got Jacksonville at home against Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay is laying a point. They're -1 on the road. So I would take Jacksonville to not only cover but win that game.
You got Nick Foles. I don't know, dude. Tampa Bay is sneaky good on the road, bro. They went into L.A. and they beat them.
L.A. is a bad team.
Almost fucking beat them.
L.A. is a bad team, though. And I think, Tampa Bay's got the worst defense in the league. They've got the worst passing defense. Nick Foles has another week under his belt. He's got...
They almost beat Seattle. Do you remember that? In Seattle.
Yeah.
They almost did.
Earlier in the year. And now we're week 13. Teams have kind of figured out who they are. Tampa Bay is a turnover machine. They've got arguably the two best wide receiver tandem in the game, but their quarterback's going to turn the ball over. They don't use their tight end. They don't use their running back, and they have no defense. Jacksonville's got a decent defense. They can get a couple of turnovers. Nick Foles is a decent quarterback. He's got some weapons. Leonard Fournette, I think, is going to run the ball all over him, and I think they win that game by at least a touchdown. I really like Jacksonville.
I mean, it's a pick-up game. It really is. If they just got the win to win, they're going to win by more than a point.
Well, hang on. Let me check the weather.
I mean, that's up to you. I'm afraid of Tampa on the road in like weird situations that don't really matter but matter to other teams. So, you know what I'm saying? That to me is a recipe for a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Of Jameis Winston having one of these Jameis Winston games, Mike Evans, Curtis Godwin going off for fucking 150 yards apiece. Look, if it's a shootout, I don't think Jacksonville wins a shootout.
Well, here's the thing. There's going to be weather. Right now it's saying scattered thunderstorms, so they're going to run the ball. Leonard Fournette versus Ronald Jones.
How these guys hold the ball. They don't give a shit. They love throwing the ball in the rain.
Okay. It does affect.
They love it.
It does affect the players running the routes,
down
though.
The defensive line.
I like Jacksonville, so I'm gonna take Jacksonville.
Good luck. Good luck, my man. I don't know. That's a little shifty to me, but I understand your logic. I think if Jacksonville wins, they will definitely cover the point, obviously. But I could see. I'm just afraid of Tampa Bay. By the way, Lucas, I don't know if you get a chance later on. Not only was I wrong about my game this week and let our team down, but I think it's the local Fox or affiliate. Anyway, go to my Facebook fan book page. I'm going to Chicago in a couple weeks, and they asked me to make a video for my prediction of the Bears and the Giants. And, of course, me being me, I talked a little shit, made a pretty good video, and made a prediction. So I don't know if you want to play it, if you can find it. It's on my Facebook fan page.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I was wrong, again, as you can probably imagine.
Now, I'm debating between two games. I really want to kind of take the Saints against the Falcons because I think that they're going to...
Don't bet against the Falcons.
Okay, Brenton's saying don't bet against the Falcons, so I kind of want to bet against the Falcons. Or the other one, and I think this is the game I want to take, is Houston over New England at home, +3. What do you think?
I'm on board for that.
Houston at home over New England. And Houston's getting 3 points, correct?
Correct.
Yep. So
it's a Sunday night game, too.
Well, it's a primetime game. Look, I think Houston's going to lose that game. But they could lose by less than a field goal. I think it could be a last-minute Tom Brady situation. I like that. I think Houston can actually pull that game out and win that game. They're due. New England's played poor enough recently to lose a game that they have not lost. So I think that if they play poorly this game, then they are going to lose it. And they may actually lose a game that they could have won because of all their luck. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're due for a loss that is owed to them. So I wouldn't be surprised if they actually lost this week. And I think Belichick would actually prefer, not obviously losing, but like a little bit of, they're not as good as their record is the case, is what I'm saying.
Right. I want to know what's up with the NFL apologizing to teams the day after over these blown calls. I'm kind of getting tired of it. Like, what's the point? With the tripping calls against Dallas last week?
They are the embodiment of like that whole that arrogance that they will never admit. They will admit when they're wrong, but there's no like self-reflection as to like, how can I correct this within ourselves? They try to have committees. They try to do that. I told you, without referees, if they don't back the referees, if they don't have the referee, if the referees aren't like looked at like untouchables, then this game's over. You can argue every single play on multiple levels. So the league will always back the refs. They will back them the day of, and then they will say they're sorry after. But they'll never do anything about it. They'll never try to correct it. They're never going to try to make it any better, which means they're putting out a product that's pretty shitty. And only when people stop watching. That's the thing. You have people that will show up to a Steelers game or a Vikings game or any other team every single game, regardless of the product out there. And that's what the NFL values themselves on. They go, those diehard fans are going to show up no matter what the fuck we do. They showed up when we had fake players out there. They're going to show up if the refs fuck up once in a while because they can point at the refs. It's not our fault. They're a separate entity. Point at the refs. But they never look at the refs as the refs' parents are the NFL, and they don't do anything about it. So as long as there are diehard fans who will show up every single game until it hits their pocketbook, which it will, pocketbook. Do you think most of them carry around NFL owners carry pocketbooks?
They're all old enough. They probably do.
The bottom line, they're fucked. That's it. This is what you're going to get. I told you I fixed it. Have 100 reps, however many you need. Have them all there at every single game. Have one ref watching each play, watching one single thing, and at the end of the play, it's an 8-second runoff. You get a check. Like like when you watch the launch of the Challenger or whatever the shuttles that go up, right? It's like Fido check, this check. We're good. All right, let's go. Next play. That's it. That's the only way.
One point I heard why the officiating's down, though, is that a lot of these officials are taking TV jobs. The Mike Pieras and whatnot. They're making more money for less pressure. They don't have to be on the field being criticized. They get to be in a booth criticizing other officials. So you have some of the best officials.
So you're saying like the good ones leave to go take a TV job?
Correct.
So, like, if you're a gifted ref, if you're like, whoa, what a great call by Mike Pereira, like, that gets on CBS's radar, and it's like, he'd rather go do that. Yeah, I mean, look, Mike Pereira was on the league. I was shocked because I was like, no one knew who he was, and I was like, I kind of know who he was just because you hear his name during the broadcast, but it was Fox's, like, kind of like, hey, this is a good idea to have him on the show. Like, they were pushing him to make him into a personality. So, yeah, there's money there, and there's money involved. But I don't think that's like crazy to think that, like, you would just get good at that. They're not good at it. They hire idiots sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not a game that you can watch at that level and figure out what's what. It was when there was not a lot of video cameras and we weren't watching the fuck-ups on a daily basis. In the 1950s, you had 3 referees out there watching this, smaller guys, less athletic, running around, smashing into each other. And if one ripped one down to the face mask, then they didn't have half the things to call that these guys have now. There were no really pass interference calls or roughing the pass or any of that shit. They had to look for like 5 different things. Did anyone have a knife? Did anyone stab anyone else? Is anyone bleeding profusely? All right, well, next play. And no one knew what was going on or a holding call because the TVs didn't show it. Now you have everyone knowing right away what the fuck-ups are. Right away.
Right.
It happens in every sport. I know. How do I know? Why do I know that it's strike or a ball? And everyone in the whole place knows before the guy who has to make the call behind the plate.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, the product is going to be the product until they store out and they take it to a different level and they make it technology based, where you could still have referees calling blatant, breaking things up, talking to head coaches if you want more of like a symbolic, a queen, a king kind of person out there, and then you have the real work being done up in the booths. Trust me, they're looking at this stuff. You don't have to look at it like instant replay, 2 minutes per play kind of to effect, but if you had enough people there, you had one person looking at like the secondary, one person that, I don't know.
Correct. But shout out to the Saints. Shout out to the Saints for being screwed over by a call that by a rule that they invented.
Yeah.
Good job, Saints.
I mean, it really, I don't know. Like, they're going to just continue to make mistakes. It really is crazy, but who knows?
Now, Steve, I have your Bears-Giants pick. Can I play it while you're on the air?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Boy, Steve Renazizi, a.k.a. Kevin MacArthur from the league. And I know you're all nervous because you hope your Chicago Bears are going to make the playoffs. But this week, into Soldier Field comes marching the New York Giants, my beloved New York Giants.
Oh, no.
Now, I know you're saying to yourself, well, this is the perfect antidote for our terrible offense, right?
Yes.
Here comes the Giants' porous defense, which looks like Swiss cheese.
Yes.
Well, you're right. But if you think you're going to squeak out a win, you're sorely mistaken, because just like last year, when our Giants, the underdog, came in and snuck a victory out against your playoff-bound Bears late in the season, we shall do so again.
Probably not.
Danny Dimes has 3 touchdown passes. Saquon Barkley off a bye week runs for 128.
Does he still play
21
football?
New York Giants. And if I happen to be wrong, well, then come tell me about it. At my shows at Zany's, December 6th, downtown. December 7th, 2 shows at Rosemont. And December 8th, downtown. Zanys.com for tickets. I'll see you all there later.
You're going to have a lot of hecklers.
Well,
now watching
I
that,
had a dream, guys.
yeah,
I thought I was right. I really did. Like, I thought about that game, saying to myself, they're not like they did the same thing last year. And I thought, I'm like, why are we playing the Bears on the road again late in the season? It doesn't make sense. But
No, that doesn't.
we just don't have the team that we had.
Well,
I mean, we didn't even have. Like, last year was remarkable.
What happened? Is your
I couldn't
offensive
believe we won
line?
that game.
Did they stop playing? Because what's going on with Barkley? Why is he all of a sudden? He's not even a top 10 running back right now.
Yeah, he's. Well,
So
I
you think
he's
that
looking at
injury
things-
is kind of lingering, and that injury is slowing him down, and he came back too soon, and now he's just kind of playing through a lot of stuff?
I heard it. He said that he took some time during the bye week to look at film, and that he wasn't running the way he used to run. And for whatever reason that was, he didn't get into. But he said he was kind of being like hesitant towards hitting gaps that he would normally hit, this and that. He was trying to like outdo everyone rather than just going to run. And so I expected him this week to just kind of fucking run north and south and hit the gaps, which he, didn't do. I mean, look, I'm never going to tell that guy what to do. I love watching him run,
He's a
whether
freak.
it's a
He's a
1-yard
freak athlete.
gain. I'll watch him run backwards, lose every yard. I just love watching the guy play. But it's got to be the offensive line as well. We have 2 starters that are out.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not, I don't think it's him. I think it's probably a little bit of the injury nagging him a little bit that he doesn't talk about. He's never going to talk about it until after the season's over. But yeah, I'm not worried. I'm not hitting the panic button. I'm not saying to myself, we made a mistake. This isn't the guy that we thought. I believe in Saquon
he's
Barkley.
certainly not a mistake.
Yeah.
He's a once-in-a-generation player, but he just doesn't look good right now. He hasn't looked good for a few weeks. And I don't think it's going to get...
And you know what?
It's going to get harder against the Packers. That was a game I was looking at. I see them coming in and just destroying you guys. Aaron Rodgers is going to be pissed off.
What worries me more about it is like there were 2 or 3. I saw one for sure, but I know I thought I saw a highlight of another one of like in the flat drop passes in his hands, like concentration stuff. And that to me says like, what is it? Frustration that I'm not the play before I didn't get what I wanted or whatever it was, and I'm looking ahead, or is it the putting the pressure on themselves? That I do think it's this is his second year. He really had no rookie setbacks, or he just he dominated last year. So this could be his first sort of I think the league's figured me out a little bit and putting pressure on myself. Therefore, the easy plays become harder. I don't know.
Well,
what do I know?
Hopefully he's underdrafted next year in fantasy drafts, because maybe he's not a top. He'll still be a top 5 pick.
He
probably.
should be, yeah.
Most likely.
Unless you're in a bad league, he should be top 5 because he's just a freak athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Giants are only going to get better on offense. Hopefully, we can get a better, some offensive line situation. Like either keep these guys and figure out a better system, or replace some people that aren't working. But I think with the quarterback being like, this is our guy now. We got a guy that is our guy, and he can throw the ball in the flats, or run out, make some other stuff happen. We can, I think his stock's only going to go up.
And can we get a shout out for Frank Gore this week? Third all time.
Why, number 2?
Number
Third
3,
all
baby.
time now, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
How feasible? Do you have the numbers in front of you for him to get to number 2?
He's a couple thousand yards off. He's not going to do it. I was looking at it.
He's going to play another 15 years, so he'll get it probably, in the next 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, Emmitt Smith has like 18,000. He has a firm grasp on that. I can't ever see anybody breaking that record.
Maybe.
No. I just didn't know what the difference between 2 and 3 was.
Okay, so the list I have in front of me on the screen isn't obviously from last Sunday because Gore's still in 4th, but Walter Payton had 16,726 yards, and Frank Gore is about probably 15,270. So, I mean, if he played 2 more years...
Dude, Frank Gore's had old man face forever, dude. Frank Gore looks like he was 45 since he was 22 years old.
It's that Greg Oden face.
He had, like, wrinkles on his face and a mushed up, like a Shar-Pei face. And he's just mean bastard who has run forever. Congratulations, Frank Gore.
Yeah, Bill Cowher...
God damn.
He's less than 1,500 yards off pace. He's
right?
at 15,289, and Walter Payton's at 16,726. So, if he was to play 2 more years, he might be able to get to second place.
And Bill Cowher made a good point. Yeah?
Yeah. Does he want to play? I mean, there'll be a...
I mean, if he's in his 15th season as a running back, I think he wants to play as long as he can possibly play.
He's going to play until his shoes give out.
Yeah.
He's been wearing the same shoes his whole career. And when those shoes go, he'll hang it up.
Yeah.
Is that for real? Are you being serious about that?
Yeah, you can always tell when he's in the game because he wears like these black old school football shoes that are unlike anyone else's on the field.
Mm-hmm. They look like a soccer player that plays football in high school. They just don't wear nicely. They're the ugliest, plainest shoes on the field.
Yeah, let me try to pull it up here. So
wait, but it's the same pair, physically the same pair for 12 years?
Yes,
or he gets a new pair every year?
I think it's a new pair every year, and he tapes them up a certain way. Very old school. Like you never see players wear tape on their shoes.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not doing like pink for breast cancer awareness, or like he's not doing like create your own logo. It's just black, put on my black cleats that I tape up a specific way every year and run over people, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's respect, dude. That's lunch pail mentality right there.
Yeah.
That's like hard work. Go out there. That's the only way to do it. Grind it out. Dude, as a running back, like I think these guys now, you probably won't see them break these records anymore, or get this longevity, or have this longevity with as physical as the game's getting, and as complicated as some of these these schemes are, and how pass heavy these offenses are. I don't know. It's like you might see all-purpose yard numbers start to really blow it up, but like as far as like straight rushing, 1,900 yard seasons for 10, 12, 14, 15 years, I think those are gone now.
I think it depends on the system, though, because you still have a couple of teams that are
who's the next Frank Gore after Frank
heavy.
Gore's done?
Well, Adrian Peterson is still going, and he's actually 240 yards away from 5th place all time, so he could get that this year. If he plays another season or 2, he could maybe touch Frank Gore. He's at 13,861 yards right now.
It's crazy, though. A lot of teams... Yeah?
No, I was going to say, didn't he take a year off, too, AP?
Well, he was,
didn't he get suspended
suspended for a year. He had to take a year off.
Yeah.
So that wasn't by choice.
A lot of teams had a do not draft Frank Gore grade on him because of his health problems in college.
Yeah, didn't he blow out both of his
knees? He blew out both knees in school. He was ahead of both Clinton Portis and Willis McGahee on the Miami depth chart. And
yeah, he was in Miami, right?
Yeah.
McGahee, he blew out his knee.
Yeah.
Badly.
Yeah. in the championship game, and the Bills still drafted him.
Yes, we did.
I remember being in the Comedy Store phone room watching that happen.
Oh, God.
Oh, Richie. Yeah, dude. I was like, oh, brutal. It was like that snapback Theismann fucking thing. What year was that? I don't remember. But I think
2003.
It was the Comedy Store phone room watching that game.
2003.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember the stunt. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, Drew Rosenhaus, to get McGahee drafted, what he did, I don't know if you remember this, but on draft day, ESPN cameras were in Willis's hotel room, and Drew called Willis on their respective cell phones. So all the teams watching it, in their draft rooms thought that Willis was talking to other teams when he was just talking to his agent, who was in the same hotel room with him, just trying to create buzz.
So, Rosenhaus.
He's a sneaky devil.
Fuck that guy is.
Now, Steve.
Shifty, dude. I love it. I love him.
Did you see the Bears fan at the Giants game on Sunday who snuck in a pumpkin pie?
Yeah, put the whipped cream on, dude.
Yeah.
What a gangster move that is. I love it. A whole pumpkin pie? Dude, I saw a video of the other day that people had a whole Friendsgiving on a subway in New York City. They had a table out. They were passing around turkey and stuff. There were plates and shit. Yeah, that whole thing on the subway train. I love it. I love bringing that stuff. Like pies that don't bring like your heavy scented ethnic food, whether it be, a hard ragu or a hard curry or a hard something like that in a very closed, confined space. Plain. But you bust out a pumpkin pie with enough for a couple people? God damn, you're a hero in my eyes.
Just looking at this guy, I don't think he shared. Pretty sure this guy just ate
now,
the
if he crushes it, the whole thing himself, now that's that bastard. That's a selfish prick.
Yeah, this looks like it's a
pie
one-man.
is meant to be shared.
It's a one-man team.
I think he emptied the whole Ready Whip cam on the pie.
Good for him, dude. Good for him. Well, that being said, guys, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to all of you, and I hope you guys have a great day tomorrow. I hope, Aaron, you there, buddy? Happy Thanksgiving, man. Thanks for doing this today.
Yeah, you too, Steve.
No problem. And to everyone out there, happy Thanksgiving. I'll be back in the studio next week. Thanks for covering me, guys.
Hell yeah, Steve. Happy Thanksgiving, brother.
Thank you very much, caller. We appreciate your time, and good luck with all your matchups. Hope we could help.
I'll fangula you.
Now, what's your opinion of this new Tesla truck?
The smashless Tesla truck that they smashed?
Yeah.
It looks ridiculous.
That's what I think, too.
But it got something like $8.3 million, or was it $8.3 million in pre-sales, or was it billion?
Wouldn't be billion. There's no way it's billion.
It got a shitload with no advertising yet.
Really? Do you think Bills fans will be jumping off that on the tables in 5 years?
They'll be smashing them.
They'll be jumping onto the damn truck.
It was a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, I don't know.
For a truck that doesn't. It looks like a Tetris piece.
Well, today Elon Musk was challenged by Ford to have a pull-off between the F-150 and the new Tesla truck, and Elon Musk accepted it. So we'll see who wins. 200,000
orders in the first 3 days of its launch.
Wow.
Ford v Tesla.
Yeah.
Coming out next fall.
Yeah. I really look forward to this Richard Jewell movie, too. I know you're making fun of it on Sunday.
It doesn't look that good.
Oh, I very, very much look forward to napping during this movie.
Yeah, it's one of those films where it's like, I'm sure like the movie itself is probably well done and the acting's really good, but it's also like, I don't care about this guy. It's not exciting to me. I vaguely remember when it happened, and I've moved on, and I'm not like, oh, that should be something that they recreate so I can relive it again. It's not like the O.J. Simpson trial. It's just not interesting.
Yeah.
So who cares?
Well, the O.J. movie would be a long-ass movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's something about it. Like, most people forget that he was innocent the whole time and accused of bombing an Olympics. Like, that's a huge thing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if he was still alive, then it would be good. So he could get a little bit of validation and people would remember, like, oh, yeah, hey, you are a good guy. You are a hero. But since he's already passed, too, it's like, well,
I think this is part of the reason he passed. It was the stress of all this still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a movie we should have made 15 years ago.
It's a Clint Eastwood, though, so I'm probably most likely going to see it.
Yeah.
I've also been an event security guard, and I'm just wondering when my time is. I did stop a lady from getting hit by a bus once.
Did you really?
I just blew a whistle at her really loud.
Well, you're a hero, Aaron.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, Yankees question for you. Derek Jeter's up for the Hall of Fame this year. Will he get an unanimous vote?
Yeah, he's first ballot.
But unanimous?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not just, he wasn't the greatest player of all time, but he had that X factor and he made people excited about baseball, and he really was the face for a decade at least. So I think he will be.
Yeah. The one that really worries me is Larry Walker. It's his last year on the ballot. He has to, I think, get 75%. He jumped up from 34 to 55% last year. But you look at his numbers, few people compare, but he gets, the fact that he played in Colorado for all those years, I think that's the knock on him. Mm-hmm. It's a shame.
I think Jeter does go unanimous. Here's the thing. So many people haven't gone unanimous. It's a crime that Rivera and Jeter will both probably be unanimous.
Right.
Like, Babe Ruth wasn't even unanimous.
Yeah, I was reading that. Like, no, I don't think, has anybody been before?
No, nobody has.
Yeah.
So, Ken Griffey was close.
Okay.
I think he was maybe one vote off, which is, again, who are you? You ridiculous person. But, yeah. Trevor Hoffman needed like 3 years.
God, and he's a career saves leader still, right?
No, Rivera passed him.
Yeah,
he was the first to 600.
Okay. Now, do you remember Thanksgiving 2012? The Jets, Patriots, the infamous butt fumble?
Oh, the butt fumble, yes.
Oh, nice.
I saw it was just the anniversary of that.
Yeah.
Beautiful play.
Dude, the Bills-Cowboys is easily the best game on tomorrow.
Yeah. It's the only one that really means anything.
Yeah.
The Bears and Lions, neither of them is going to do anything. The NFC is just too good. The wild card teams only have like 2 or 3 losses. So neither team is in play. The Saints are probably going to steamroll the Falcons because the Saints, I know they didn't play well against them a couple weeks ago, but they might be the best team in the NFC, honestly. Even though the record doesn't say they are, I think they're playing like the best team.
I would rather have San Fran, though. I keep doubting San Fran, and they blew out the Packers.
They blew out the Packers. Packers are okay. They're not an elite
supposed to be
team.
pretty, but they were 8-2.
Yeah.
I mean, look at their schedule. They have 3 8-2 games in a row. Well, I mean, they're not 8-2 anymore, but they had Green Bay, and then next week, let me check.
This week they're playing Baltimore, at Baltimore, and then they play the Saints.
Right.
So they have some challenges. If they can win 2 of those 3 games, then yeah, they're going to be at the top. But
the Bills-Cowboys game worries me, though, because Jason Garrett's coaching for his job.
Yeah. But we're coaching for a playoff berth.
True.
And we're coaching for Steve to go through a table.
Yep.
And it's going to happen.
Yep. Get your backs ready.
It's going to happen.
Redheaded coach versus redheaded coach.
It's going to happen.
He's not really going to pick one of his sons to go through a table for him, is he?
He probably will. Knowing Steve, like, he still owes me for 5 or 6 bets.
Yeah.
So he's probably, he'd throw his wife through a table before he goes through a table.
Can you have him repay all the bets within like a week?
He
so
should.
Every
yeah,
day
we should
he
just
has
do a
to
montage of him doing every bet that he owes me.
A big bet I owe you.
Oligny is on the chat, and he says the Bucs are going to win by 2 touchdowns, which they're not. Sorry.
They're so hard to bet on.
Sorry.
The Titans, the Bucs, there's a few teams that I just don't go near. That said, I'm 0 for 2 the last 2 weeks, so I'm not on a
2-0.
streak.
I'm feeling it.
Tides are shifting.
Jacksonville.
I've won the Comedy Store pool, that they set up with the door guys. Everybody puts in $10.
Mm-hmm.
I've won it 4 times this year. Paid my rent 1 month with it.
Fucking A, man. This
Give
podcast,
me your money.
It's changing lives. This podcast.
Get on draft.
Making you guys wealthy, except for Steve.
But you tell me not to get on DraftKings because you don't want my money.
I don't want your money.
I may get on DraftKings.
I feel bad. I mean,
I'm gonna be the last to get on it, but I'm gonna get on
look,
it.
Man, I know what my strengths are. I analyze fantasy football. I really enjoy fantasy football. I cannot break down. I'm not good at these parlay picks because I don't look at the big picture. I'm looking at individual players. I have a pool of players that I like, and I pick those players out when they have the matchups that I like. So I'm very one-dimensional.
Now, if you had to make a Super Bowl pick right now, who would it be?
Right now, I would probably say it's going to be the Ravens and the Saints, and I would like the Ravens.
You see that Earl Thomas made a Super Bowl guarantee about an hour ago?
What did he say?
He was asked today if, because they're playing the 49ers this week.
Yeah.
And somebody just mentioned the Super Bowl matchup, and, could you see this being a Super Bowl matchup this year? And he said, I don't know who we're playing, pretty much. So good for him.
Well, that's the mentality at that.
Yeah. And Lamar Jackson also yesterday became the fastest player on Madden. He beat, they upped his speed rating, so it was faster than Michael Vick's.
Wow. Well, he deserves it.
Yeah.
That guy is unbelievable. But is it sustainable?
I mean,
if he's out in the open field taking hits, he's a young guy. He's only 22, I think. So if he's taking all those hits, they're going to add up, and eventually he's going to get hurt. And then he blows out a knee. He has to get surgery. Suddenly he comes back. Now he's not as fast, not as quick.
But I'm starting, he's
got a good arm, but he's going to have to, I think next year he's going to be more in the pocket, and he's going to have to learn that. If he wants to play for a long time, he's going to have to learn that part.
Agreed. But every NFL player is injury prone. Like, you can't get that out of the game.
Yeah.
So for sure, after the age of 30, he's going to have to really be a pocket passer, I'm sure. But right now, he's killing it, and every team passed on him.
Yeah.
Imagine being the last pick of the first round.
Well, no, because I'm 5'6", and I weigh 120 pounds. So, no, I cannot imagine being the last pick of the first round. I cannot imagine even being in New York and let into the building to watch from the back row of the NFL draft.
Question, can you get mono twice in a year?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm hoping Sam Darnold, by the time that Bills matchup happens at the end of December, week 17.
Can you get mono twice?
Because that game is looking a little harder today than it was 2 weeks ago. You can't get mono, or the game doesn't look as hard, you don't think?
I don't think the game... It's definitely... It's going to be more of a challenge, but I think when they're playing for nothing and we're playing for everything, we're going to step up, and we're going to win that game. I'm not worried about that game. I also still think, and I will argue with anybody, that they will beat the Patriots in New England. I don't care what anybody says. That's happening. They're going to beat New England. I'm worried about tomorrow. I'm a little nervous about Baltimore. I'm a lot nervous about Baltimore, but they're going to beat the Jets and the Patriots, and they're going to get that wild card. They're going to get the top wild card. They're going to play the number 2 seed, or however it works, and who they play, the 4 seed? They're going to play the 4 seed in the wild card game.
Wait, they would be... You're saying in the first round?
In the first round. They're going to play the 4 seed. So that'll probably be Houston.
Most likely, and it wouldn't be at home, right?
Yeah.
It'd be on the road.
So I don't know. I think the schedule's opening up, and it's optimistic. I made my futures bet this last week because they got 8 wins, money in my pocket. So,
do you think the Bengals win a game?
No.
They went back to Dalton this week.
I still don't think they win a game.
I don't either.
They're really bad.
They're terrible.
AJ Green might come back, though.
Oh, really?
Probably not, but if Dalton's... there's a 0% chance AJ Green comes back with Finley, but with Dalton, there's like a 5% chance now.
So he's not on injured reserve. He can just come back.
I don't think they moved him on injured reserve. I can check that, but I still think he is sitting because he doesn't want to play.
You can do that?
Yeah. I don't know what the rules are, but yeah, he's not on the IR, and he's still only listed as questionable this week.
And he's only owned in what's the percentage
owned
of fantasy
in 52% of all Yahoo leagues right now.
Wow, he was a first-round pick 2 years ago.
And if you're holding on to him, you're a fucking dummy.
You haven't been paying attention to your lineup.
I mean, there are guys. Listen, we don't give a lot of straight-up fantasy advice on this show, but if you're an AJ Green owner and you're not picking up, like, Randall Cobb is out there, James Washington's out there, and I think Devlin Hodges is a huge step up from Mason Rudolph, so he might get some work. Alan Hearns isn't a great player, but they just re-signed him to a big deal. So I picked him up in a few of my daily fantasy lineups, and he scored a touchdown last week. So Alan Hearns is a guy that you could be using. Demaryius Thomas, honestly, is playing pretty well with Darnold playing well. So he's a guy.
You made that prediction to me a few weeks ago, though.
And he had a great game. So there are guys out there. Josh Gordon even.
Yeah. Yeah, we were asking why New England got rid of him.
I don't know, because now they need a wide receiver, and there were talks of Antonio Brown maybe going back, and the Patriots have said that there's no way that's happening. So he's done for this year, and who knows if he plays another down with anybody.
Well, what do you think? Because we were debating who plays first, Myles Garrett or Antonio Brown. Now, if Myles Garrett
will play first.
He will?
Yeah.
Are you okay with
the
him?
end of this year? I'm fine with him.
Yeah.
You know, he was completely wrong, and he shouldn't have done what he did, but Mason Rudolph started it. And then there was that whole thing that he claimed that Mason Rudolph said a racial slur, but people were like, well, why didn't he tell everybody right away? Why wasn't this revealed? And then later it came out that he did tell the team right away, but nobody wanted it to come out. And then it came out later that he was saying that. So that made him look bad, but he'll be back next year.
Yeah.
He's done this year. Yeah. No matter what, he's done this year, but he'll be back game 1 next year. And I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
You know, these guys are passionate. Mason Rudolph tried to kick him in the junk, and he tried to pull off his helmet. He hit him over the head. He's getting suspended more than anyone's been suspended, and you know, he's serving his time.
You're a hockey fan too. You're used to fights that.
Yeah.
We really needed you last week. There was a we were talking about old fights, old infamous sports fights. Mm-hmm. And what was the famous hockey fight where somebody got like almost slashed? You know what I'm talking about?
It was at the Avalanche and the Canucks where the guy went over the top.
Yes.
Was it Bertuzzi?
Todd Bertuzzi. Yes, I remember that.
So yeah, I remember that. I mean, there's so many great hockey fights though. But hockey it's a very intense sport, and like you look at the football fight, you don't see it a lot, so it's like crazy, and you think it's crazy, but it goes on a nightly basis on the ice. And Dahlin for the Sabres got knocked out by a cheap elbow shot when they were playing the Lightning. It wasn't even called on the ice. There was no penalty called, but he got knocked out of the game, and then the next day that player was suspended for 2 games. So that's how like different those games are. You see a guy swing his helmet, you're like, this is fucking crazy. But guys slash with their sticks constantly. There's fists thrown, you know, all kinds of shit happens.
So much aggression.
Yeah. That's why it's a great sport.
I just found out about Philly's rec room that they have. Like that, I had to Google. That's a real thing. They have a room where you can just go in, pay, and break shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes. I mean, everyone should have that room in their house.
For
People
sure.
would be a lot nicer to everyone else.
For sure. God dang it. Shout out to Truth Hurts, too. I was beating him in fantasy. I was up like 89% chance of winning. Came through on Monday night. Beat me. Mark Ingram went off.
Oh, yeah.
So Truth Hurts, you won 6 weeks in a row.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Congrats, man. Oligny, too. He's kicking ass. He's in second place. So, and I think I'm sitting in 4th right now. Emma's still in 3rd. Did Steve fall? Steve keeps losing, man. He might not even make the playoffs. In the wrong league. Let's see. So we got the Truth Hurts. For anyone paying attention, Oligny's in 2nd. Emma's in 3rd. I'm in 4th. Steve is still in 5th place at 7-5. But if he loses this week, he might drop out of playoff contention. If you win and he loses, you might find yourself in 6th place, and he's on the outside looking in.
Well, I'm playing Emma, so I'm a little worried.
Yeah.
But Dak Prescott's going up against that Buffalo defense tomorrow, so after tomorrow, I'll at least have a pretty good idea of how the rest of the weekend will shape out.
That could be a heavy Zeke game.
So is that your unsolicited fantasy advice, is to start Zeke?
I mean, Buffalo has had trouble stopping the run. He's a very good player. He's going to want to eat on Thanksgiving. So I think you could see him catch a lot of passes, 5 or 6 passes out of the backfield, run some screen plays, but definitely run for 100 yards against him and a couple of touchdowns.
I'm just hoping those Dallas O-line are tripping people left and right.
Yeah. We're going to need it. But all right, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Steve, for calling in. Where are you going to be, Lucas?
I am going to be at the Comedy Store tomorrow night, the Phoenix House of Comedy next weekend, December 5th through 8th, with Steve Simone and Lee Syatt. So message me for tickets.
And I'm going to be at the Comedy Store Friday, 2 shows in the Belly Room and the Original Room. And then next week, I will be at the Addison Improv in Texas, opening for Steve Byrne Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I want to thank Aaron for being here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Good luck this weekend. Go Bills.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much for joining me. How you been? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Steve Renazizi. I'm the guy. I'm the guy fucking lit. I'm the guy. I'm Steve Renazizi.